All right, let's get started. Okay, we got everything going. Sharing is paused, so let's get the share. Let me just go back here for a second. Okay, resume share. All right. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Wade T. Lightheart from the Prosperity and Health Alliance. And guess what? It is week 4. Technically, it's week 5 because we had a double week on one side last week. So we had a couple things on there, constant strategic innovations and things like that. We've been going through week by week on how to strategically upgrade your business. Tonight, we're going to talk about world-class sales and marketing systems. So what the difference between sales and marketing. And we're going to share why the 3 biggest reasons why people don't succeed in their business. And it is related to these things. And a lot of people just really underestimate the power of world-class sales and marketing systems. And the reality is, if you don't have a system, then you're really in trouble. And that's the biggest, that's a clue to what's going on. Of course, we're doing this course to kind of help you kind of strategically look at things. That doesn't mean that you have to do all these things right away. You want to pick the week that resonates most with you and then drill down on it. But you can go through each of these weeks and kind of look through it. Some of the stuff we've borrowed from Tony Robbins and, his whole thing in Business Mastery. I think that's a great course. I highly recommend go checking it out. And then the other things that I'm talking here are what I've been able to learn over the last 13 years in the Enagic business, or 12 and a half, I guess we're at now. So the bottom line is these are things that I've learned and applied in my business that can work, and they can also help you. And I've been able to integrate that because I've been online sales and marketing with my other business partner in my Optimizer business for the last 15 years. So really fun, really exciting. Glad to be here and glad to share this important message. So let's get at it. Let's see if I can get my slides moving. See if we can get on to the next slide. So, whoops, we lost it. So let me just, we'll escape out of that and let's try this. We'll go to play. All right. See if that helps us. There we go. All right. So let's talk about this for a second. Like the critical factors that's going to allow you to build a world-class system. There's really 3 things. Why I got 4 fingers, I don't know. There's 3 things. All right. There's marketing. So what is marketing? So marketing is the art and science of getting qualified leads in front of you. So for example, I was over at in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago, hanging out with Fred Brown. Fred Brown has a water store and he advertises on the internet, and in Las Vegas, a lot of people need water because it's, dehydrated and stuff. And he has his team and he has an event there and he has a process where people come and go get water in the store. There are some online formats that people are using online to, whether it's paid ads on Facebook, Google, that type of thing. A lot of people are using that. The problem with that is it's a tough game for people, and you got to commit money to that for a long period of time as you test and go through that. So you have to be prepared for that type of component. And it's one of the greatest way to expand and grow your business. But those early 6 months, year, that sort of stuff, it can be a little rough, and a lot of people don't have the wherewithal or the fortitude to stick with it. Then there's also maybe all the other things you've seen, people handing newspapers, people going out to events, people going at trade shows, people going at home shows. Then there's people like literally, kicking down doors, go door to door. All of these are part of the marketing effort. Basically, whatever you are doing to get people to have a look at your product and service. It could be the old, take everybody on your list and text them and call them and go have a meeting and meet them up for coffee and do a presentation and all that sort of stuff. But the bottom line is that is marketing. That is getting your message out into the world, tracking that message so that you are getting enough leads, you're converting enough of those leads that it makes sense for whatever time, effort, and energy or money that you are putting forth on your marketing. That's what marketing is. Now, sales, which is what we're going to talk a little bit more about today, is the art and science of closing those leads. So in my other business with Bioptimizers, one of the things that we do is my business partner works a lot on the marketing. He brings the people into the funnel, right? And then I'm one of the guys that's closing those people. I get on a call, I get on a webinar, I get on, an email, whatever it is, that it's my job to close those things. And then sometimes we have other things. We have copywriters that write sales pages. These are all different ways that you can close. So copywriting is the art of closing a sale through written copy. And then you see VSLs, video sales letter. That is, those, you get on those videos and they kind of show up running through, they says, here comes Bob, and Bob, they tell a story or whatever, and you kind of get involved in the story, and it only shows you a page at a time and it keeps going. That's a video sales letter, which is just a sales letter that is brought to you in a broadcast. Then there are like conversion videos. There are actually sales pitch videos. Then there's webinars. Webinars are a way that you can do a presentation, or there is a physical belly to belly sales presentation. And that sales presentation may have a health focus if you're dealing with health clients, or it may have a business focus if you're working on a business type client. So it's presenting the product as a health technology or as a business technology. And then some people do an overall conversion between the two. The bottom line is you can do any way that you like, whatever feels right. I started out doing the health side and ended up doing more on the business side in the end. So some people start out on the business side and end up doing more on the health side. But that is the art of sales. Sales is converting those leads into a sale. Now, the system, what does that mean? Well, the system is how you follow up, how you generate referrals. The best form of lead generation there is getting referrals from your customers because they know you, they love you, they trust you, and they share it with their sphere of influence. And that gives you a major, major advantage when you are going to sell that person, because the trust is there. You're literally leveraging the trust of the referral. Now, what is the goal of the system? The goal of the system is to get repeat orders from taking customers and turning them into clients, and then taking your clients and turning those into raving fans. That's the 3 stages that you need in the system. So number 1 is how you follow up, generate referrals, how you repeat orders, turning customers into sales. So try not to think of the people buying your machine or buying an Ukon or buying a Anaspa. Don't think of them as a sale. Think of them as a client. Look, these people are going to need filters. These people may have family members that are going to want water machines. They're going to have maybe Christmas presents and anniversaries and stuff. They might want to get an Anaspa. Maybe they want to go on a long-term health program with using the Ukon turmeric and stuff. You want to be able to think not just in terms of the immediate gratification of the sale, but how do you maintain that relationship? Are you contacting them about filters? Are you letting them know about specials? Are you telling them about the business opportunities? Are you letting them know about all the options that they might have, so that when the situation is right, they're ready to buy from you? That is when you have a world-class system. Give you an example of that. About 25 years ago, I bought a book called Unlimited Power, and that was written by Tony Robbins, and it was a great book. And then my mom saw that, and later on she got me a book called Awaken the Giant Within. So that was 2 books 25 years ago or whatever. And I went through those books and I learned all those books, and Tony Robbins made an impression on me. This was before the internet was popular or any of that stuff. So it was cool. It was really cool. I was really into that. It made a big difference in my life, and I liked it. Now, get this. About 10 years ago, I went to a UPW, which is Unleash the Power Within, which was a 3 or 4 day event in Vancouver. He happened to have one. It's the first one he put on in 10 years. I happened to be there. I said, I'm going to check this guy out. paid my money. It was like 500 bucks, I think, something like that. 500 bucks or $1,000. And I went for this weekend event. You walk on coals and jump around and do crazy stuff. It's kind of fun. 10 years ago. Now this year, I went to Business Mastery, 10,000 bucks. And I went to Date with Destiny, is kind of de facto one. Okay. So there's another 10,000 bucks. So get that. 25 years ago, I get a $20 book. Now, because Tony offers so much value and keeps the communication and keeps him out there and keeps his present over those 25 years, guess what? I dropped 500 bucks or 1,000 bucks 10 years, so 15 years after those first books. And then I dropped another $20,000. $20,000. So Tony Robbins, his company has gotten, let's say just somewhere over $20,000, $21,000 over me in the last 25 years. Almost $1,000 a year, starting with a $20 book. That's a sales system. See, he never stopped creating value. He's never stopped communicating. He never stopped presenting his message. And, obviously $10,000 20 years ago was way too much for me. 10 years ago, whatever, it was too much for me to spend on a personal development program. Now it's something that was very valuable. And by the way, it was really great course. It was a great course. I've got a lot of value out of it. So not only is he a world-class marketer, he's a world-class salesman. Okay. He's got both. And he's got a great system that allows us to follow up with him, right? We follow up, and guess what? The fortune is in the follow-up. 25-year relationship for him to get the big payoff in the end. And he's done that with tens and hundreds of thousands, millions of people around the world. So now here's the thing. This is where people fail. This happens all the time. I see people come out of the gate, they talk to all their people, they connect, they do all this sort of stuff, and they get into their new business. They're going through the warm market and all that sort of stuff. They don't have a system. They don't have a follow-up. I made all these mistakes. They don't have these things built in. So they get customers, but they don't get clients, and they definitely don't get raving fans. So they do everything they can. They sell them a machine. They go out and you never hear from them. They never teach them how to clean it. They don't help them set up the machine. They don't provide the filters. They don't let them know when the sales are on. They don't even know that they have to clean this machine. They don't know all the benefits of the other water. None of that stuff, right? I did all those mistakes. That's because I didn't have a system. That's why you didn't have a system, right? So the bottom line is you need to be able to understand where the next customer. What happens is you burn through your list and then you've got nobody left. Who do you talk to? You're out of people because you've burned bridges all along, just going with customers and not turning them to clients and raving fans. How you communicate, how you follow up. Do you overpromise and underdeliver, or do you underpromise and overdeliver? Which is it? Are you always only showing up looking for the money, or are you adding value when you have an opportunity to interact with the people who purchase from you? You want to start a relationship just like Tony Robbins, where people are buying water machines from you for the next 25 years. Things change. People, they families expand and people move to other places. Finances change. And the bottom line, by maintaining those relationships and clients, you'll never know how valuable that is unless you do that. And then guess what? You'll see it. You'll see it come down the line. So what happens to people when they don't have a system is they go out, they get a whole bunch of customers, they have no follow-up, they have nothing that's going to generate the stuff. They have no real campaign. And what happens, they run out of leads. So they then scramble. They're looking for leads. And this is when you become prey to all of the, hey, we'll show you how to get leads. Hey, buy these newspapers, get these books, watch these tapes, hand out these tapes, hand out these videos. And so there's a whole business, there's a whole industry in the MLM business and all kinds of businesses of how to attract and get new leads, how to convert them and all that sort of stuff, of coaching programs. And some of them are really good and a lot of them aren't so good. So the bottom line is you need a campaign that's always generating leads. Now, in my Bioptimizer business, I'm great. It's great because my business partner is always generating leads. He's a lead generating machine. That's his whole system is on that. So that's great. So the second thing that people make an issue with is determining the difference between sales and marketing, right? I would say that I'm a great salesman, right? I'm good at closing people. I'm good at doing a presentation. I'm doing a presentation on a stage, online. That's my skill set. That's where I get juiced. I can say the same thing over and over and over a million times and not get bored. Matt, my business partner, he's not like that. He's always new, and that's what makes him a good marketer. He's a good salesman as well, but he prefers to do marketing because in marketing, you're always changing, you're always testing, you're always doing new things. So you have to determine the difference between sales and marketing. Getting people to the presentation is marketing. Closing them is sales. So which skill are you best at? Who can you partner with that has the other skill set? And then how do you combine your skill sets to follow up after all? So how do you take care of that customer after they've bought and turn them into a client and eventually a raving fan? Okay. So that's the difference between sales and marketing. And most people don't know the difference between the two. I didn't know the difference between the two. Now I do know the difference. I know where I'm strong. I'm okay marketer, but I'm a great salesperson. So I try to partner up with people who are good at putting butts in the seat. And that way I can focus on doing the thing that a lot of those people have trouble with, and that's closing. Okay. So, and then finally, what happens is lack of a predictable system to acquire new customers, new affiliates, new partners, or new money. Look, if you don't have a predictable system, if you don't know that you're going to spend $500 on lead generation or $500 or $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever it happens to be, you don't have a predictable system, eventually it doesn't work. Eventually it doesn't work. So if you don't have a system, guess what? You're shooting arrows in the dark. You're not looking at it. So you need to think in terms of system. How much am I going to spend on my advertising? That's time, energy, money. And that could be just calling people up, texting people, setting up meetings. That's old school. It still works. It's still one of the most effective ways. Belly to belly will always be the best way to market, bar none. But you got to build your skill set up. So the question is, how do you do that? First, you got to gather data on your customer. Who's your customer? Who's the people that you resonate the most, that you speak their language, that you talk their talk, that you can relate to them? Are they families? Are they older people? Are they young people? Are they people looking for money? Are they people looking for health? Who is that person? Who is your ideal customer that you feel that you resonate most? And oftentimes at first we don't know that, right? Then what's your sales pitch like? Is it current? Is it effective? Are you engaging? Are you entertaining? And does it close? Are you able to ask for the sale? Now remember, when you ask for the sale, you are going to hit no's, and you need to expect that no, and then you need to be able to go past the no and be able to address the limiting buying beliefs and the objections of your client. So many people, they fold up their tent. They either don't ask for the sale, or when they get a no, they don't press beyond the no. But great salespeople go beyond the no. They do a process of looping past that, and they find out what is the limitation for that person to buy, because it's usually not the reason that you think. Eventually, it's all going to come down to money, but you got to blow out the other, what I call kind of false flags that get thrown up to block this. Wow, my wife will never go for it. Blah, blah, blah. I need to do this. The car broke. Like all these kind of things that people will throw out. You got to expect them, and you got to move around them. And that is really what it's salesman pitch. So you want to create current. Like when I started out, we were doing like 3-hour presentations. Can you imagine trying to get someone in a room today for 3 hours? Ain't going to happen. Now I can do a presentation in 20 minutes, a 20-minute demo, an hour demo. That's the way it is. So how current is your pitch? How effective is it? How engaging? And does it close? Those are the things. How many people are in the room? How many people buy? Right? So those are the things that you need to be tracking and learning. And look, you're going to get better at it. The bottom line is anything worth doing, I say, is worth doing poorly. And at first, it's worth doing poorly because that's the only way you're going to get better. I sucked at sales. I sucked at marketing. I sucked at this business. I sucked at everything I've ever done. The only thing I ever did really that was okay was skiing. I jumped on a pair of skis and could ski, but I had been playing hockey for a lot of years. The only thing I ever picked up really quick. Everything else I sucked at. But I have determination, and I encourage you to develop fortitude, develop determination, develop the never say die attitude. And that doesn't mean you just keep smacking your head against the wall. It means that you continue to try new things. You continue to upgrade your skills so that you learn. And here's why people trick themselves out. They don't track their business and marketing efforts. They don't know how many people come to, they don't know how many people they reached out to. They don't know how many people showed up for a presentation, and they don't know how long it took to close them. They don't know they don't know what their numbers are. And the bottom line is let's say you invite 10 people and 5 people show up, and out of that 5 people, 1 person buys. So you have to realize at that point, okay, you've got a 20% closing rate, right? Because you're closing 1 out of 5, pretty good, right? Pretty good. But you're only closing 1 out of 10 people that you're getting out to event. And if you pitch 10 people, or 10 people said they were going to come, 5 actually showed up, the reality is you're going to have to, you might have actually talked to 30 or 40 people to get those 10. And then you got to follow up with the other 5, the 5 that didn't show up. You see what I'm saying? Know your numbers. How many sales do you need to hit to get your revenue targets? I got a distributor in my organization. We talk strategically. He's almost at the next level, that iconic -3. And guess what? He knows his numbers. He knows exactly how many sales. Every time we talk to him, I go, where's your numbers at? Boom, he pops it up. He's got a screen. He's got a presentation. Look, I need this many here, this many here, this many here, this many here. I'm working on this. I'm working on this. That's a system. That's a strategy. Okay. So how many sales? The other thing is how many presentations requires. Once you know your numbers, you'll know how many presentations, right? And then you'll know how many appointments, because people won't always show up at appointments. So if your numbers are to get 1, you got to hit 20, then 10 people are going to say, yes, they're going to go. And then 5 of those are going to show up. And then you're going to close 1 of them because everybody else is going to be in the hopper. That's the numbers. That's the numbers. It doesn't matter what the numbers is, but if you don't know them, then what happens is you can easily get discouraged. If you know that you need to do 5 presentations to get a sale, guess what? When presentation number 3 doesn't work out, you're not upset by it. Because you know, oh, well, that's 3. I know I'm going to average 5. Even if you did 7 and didn't get 1, and then you got 8 and 9, you got 2, you know, you're still even, right? And the numbers helps remove the emotionality out of it, that feeling of hopelessness and stuff. If you don't know your numbers, people are spinning around, and that's a big factor in sales. Failure to follow up and generate referrals for your business. Look, we talked about building a system. I've got friends that are really good at it, and you know, one of the things that I've always done is I've leveraged people. I am not great at following up. I'm great at building relationships. So I surround myself with people who are good at following up, and I help build the relationships. I help the sales efforts in those relationships. So again, I know my skill set, right? And so I try and partner with people that are good at following up. My assistant, for example, Vida, she's amazing. She takes care of, she takes all of the follow-up for me. So I've got, on one side, I've got Matt and the marketing team who are bringing customers in the door. And I've got Vida, who is organizing my schedule and following up with people that I've got to contact or reach out to or do whatever. See, it's a perfect system. And now it took me a long time to get here. It took me like 15 years to get to this point. So you have to recognize, okay, I need to get good enough until I can get the right people in my business. And you might even present it that way. You might partner up with people as opposed to just hitting the thing. Say, hey, look, I'm putting together a group of people that's got unique skills and abilities, and we're going to build this thing out. Here's what I'm good at. I'm good at da-da-da-da-da. You're good at this. Susie's good at that. Let's get this thing together and work together as a cohesive unit and really build this out, okay? Just like that. Then failure to follow up and generate referrals from your business. This is a big one. So many people just like leave the sale when it's done. They don't get referrals. They don't ask for referrals. Hey, who do you know that might want one of these? Would you be okay? I'll give you a commission if I give you a reference. If you give me a reference that actually buys. How many people do you know? Would you be interested in putting on a presentation at your house? Would it be okay if I reach out and call these people? Would you know someone that might need this? Someone that has health goals or fitness goals, or someone else who might be suffering from a challenge that this water can benefit, or maybe someone who's looking for a financial opportunity, right? So you can have a system of tracking. You know what my system of tracking is? You know what my system of tracking is? Honest to God. Here's what it is. This is it. It's called a notebook. I know I'm a bit of a dinosaur, but I get on a call, I write it in my notebook, and I move forward. It's really that simple. Now, we've got tracking systems on some of the digital stuff that'll blow your mind. There's spreadsheets and people are doing reports and all. I love all that stuff. I can look at it and I just get click. I've got tracking systems in virtually every area of my business life, and they work. They're great. But you know what? You can do all that pen and paper. I actually prefer this, but now I got big teams, and you need the digital stuff after. So that's a big factor. Next, how are you following up? Do you know how much you spent on generating new leads for your business? Do you know how much you spent? Talk about the gas, going to the events, how much you're spending, all that time, effort, energy. You need to calculate that. You need to know the value of your time. This will allow you to get laser focused and strategic. Okay? How many calls are you making? How many appointments are you getting? What's the difference? How many referrals are you getting? Do you have referrals? Do you have a system of getting more? How do you follow up? How do you wow people? Do you present them maybe some saline solution? Do you give them a special deal on the filters? Maybe you purchase something. Maybe you give them some water bottles, right? Maybe you get them some water bottles. I was at another event, right? I'm at Brendan Fashard event. Great marketer. What's he got? He's handing out water bottles, and what are they? Influencer, right? This is his course. So now, here I am. I'm drinking my Kangen water. I'm drinking my Kangen water in an influencer bottle. Well, why am I doing that? I'm doing that because it's a great bottle. It's really nice. It's really attractive. It's got a great lid on it. It's tight. It's great. It's a great bottle. It fits in just about every kind of cup holder, even the little tiny ones. It's a great bottle, right? It's so nice. This is so nice that I actually left it at a client's house recently. A client is a friend of mine here in LA. And his assistant saw this, that I had left it there, mailed it to me. Why? Now, if this was some old dirty bottle glass, would they have done that? No. They said, wow, that's a really nice bottle. It probably means something to him. They sent the bottle to me. Amazing, right? How do you get referrals? Are you following up with people? Are you reaching out to them? Are you asking them about the filters? So you can say, by the way, mind if I come over and check your machine, see if the pH is working, see if the things, are you doing the plates, are you doing the cleaning? Mind people. And then it opens up the conversation. So start with service and do the follow-up. Next, are you getting marketing training? Are you getting marketing training? What are you doing? Who are you listening to get your marketing training, right? Because this is part of the sales system. You need to bring people in the door. This is one of the things, right? There's other people out there, there's like Danny D. McCauley's like, go out and deliver water every winter. Whatever you need to do. And then the next thing is, I'm going to suggest, by the way, at the end of this, I'm going to give you guys a couple areas that you can go online and learn all this stuff from the people that I think produce the best results. Okay. So I bought everybody's stuff. I've done everything, not everything, but I've done a lot. And the reality is there's ways to do this. And then, are you upgrading your sales skills? Have you taken a sales training course? Listen, there's a lot of negative connotations over sales. I had that. My whole family believed in it. But you know what? I love a great sales experience, and so do you. You can probably think of the worst sales experience you had, but you can also remember a time where you went somewhere, you were treated like royalty, you had a great time, you were happy, the salesperson made you feel like $1 million, and you bought way more than you ever thought you ever would have, and you felt great about it. That's world-class sales training, right? Now, so are you upgrading your sales skills, right? Do you have a system for measuring your efforts? I'm hitting this again. Acquiring new leads, closing them, getting referrals, and generating business. Are you upping your game? The bottom line is, I remember going to Eric Worre's GoPro, and, he gets Tony Robbins up there. Again, there's Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is showing up at an event because why? He knows all of those people in that audience. The people in that audience are people who are motivated, people who are trying to grow, people that need to overcome their limiting beliefs, people who are willing to go out there and spend time and effort and money to learn things. So guess what? He shows up at Eric Worre's events. And why does he show up at Eric Worre's events? And he goes outrageous, he delivers, and guess what? You're reminded of Tony Robbins again. And guess what? It worked because I'm buying the Kool-Aid. I'm buying his stuff. He's out there presenting value, and I'm reminded, right? I'm reminded of how much value he's offering. Okay. So, and what's he talking to Eric Worre about? Eric Worre has one of the best MLM network marketing trainings around the world. And he's getting Eric to up his game. Now, Eric probably doesn't have to work anymore. He certainly doesn't have to hold, events with 20,000 people. But he does, and Tony is pushing him to do more. Do them in Australia, do them in Russia, do them in these other places. Up your game, raise your standards. So a great salesperson is always raising their standards. They're always raising their marketing IQ. They're looking for new and better systems. What's the latest and greatest? Things change at the speed of thought nowadays, so you got to be up in your game, okay? Now, so what's your next step? Now, look, I didn't get into all of the salesmanship ideas. I didn't go through all that stuff, and I didn't go through all but I'm going to give you 3 things. I've spent, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars on sales and marketing training, and I don't know how many thousands of hours. And I can tell you there's 3 really great systems. For sales, I believe that Jordan Belfort's straight line persuasion is the most comprehensive sales system I've ever seen. If you learn the straight line persuasion, how that works, the psychology of the sale, the structure of the sale, how to overcome objections and how to close and how to build a great relationship, I don't think there's anybody I've seen that has actually broken down how to do a sales course like Jordan Belfort. He is amazing. He is the wolf. He is the wolf on Wall Street for a reason. Incredible guy, just lives down the road from me here. And the bottom line is you're getting absolute incredible value from that guy. You can get his course for a couple $1,000 or whatever. It's a great course, straight line persuasion. I recommend it to everybody and to anybody. You will understand how to do a sale. Next, Eric Worre's GoPro. If you want to learn about marketing in this industry, I would recommend that you go to Eric Worre's GoPro, go to his event, buy his books, become a member of his course, learn what is happening in the state of the art in this industry, because he's marketing for this industry. And so there's lots of great marketers out there, but not that many that is on the GoPro. So I highly recommend checking out Eric Worre's GoPro. And then finally, how do you turn a customer into a raving fan? I would call that Joey Coleman's Never Lose a Customer. You can buy his book, you can take his course, all that sort of stuff. It's a great system of breaking this all down on how, and a lot of the biggest and most powerful companies, the companies that you've had great experiences, use Never Lose a Customer. We've implemented many of those strategies inside my other business by Optimizers. And I can tell you, it makes such a difference about providing world-class customer service value. So sales for marketing, GoPro, for in this industry, for sales, straight line persuasion, and for turning your customers into clients and into raving fans, Joey Coleman's Never Lose a Customer. I'm sharing those things with you because I think that those 3 individuals are better than me at any one of those areas. So it's not about me. It's about you taking the time, taking the effort, investing in yourself. Go out. Now, what I'm going to suggest is here's what you do. Now, I'm not getting paid for this. There's no links here to go. You just go get it. Go get it up. If you are having trouble closing sales, go get straight line persuasion. If you are having trouble getting new customers, go to GoPro. And if you don't know how to turn your current customers into clients and raving fans, go get Never Lose a Customer. So everybody that listening to this call should go off tonight and take one of these options and just go apply it. And then go through the cycle of those three. Both of them have sales system. They all have sales systems. They all have marketing systems. I know Jordan does a lot of marketing stuff. But the bottom line is, I think his best stuff is his sales stuff. And I think Eric's marketing stuff is his best stuff for this industry. And Joey's world-class at never losing a customer, turning clients to raving fans. So those are the three heavyweights. Hope you enjoyed this session. But the bottom line is, I'd like for you to think of building a system. How do you generate leads? How do you close those leads? And how do you turn those customers into raving fans? Those are the three things that you need to do. That's Way T Lightheart tonight from the Prosperity Health Alliance. I hope you love it. Go get one of those courses right now. Thanks so much for joining it. And I will warn you that next week I will not be here. We'll put up some kind of video or something. I'm off to 40 years of Zen. So no phones, no computers, no emails. I will be unreachable with my brain hooked up to a bunch of electrodes, sitting in pods with a bunch of my friends as we work on improving our brain function. It's the latest state of the art, increases IQ, increases EQ, makes you more functional as an executive. So that's what I'll be doing next week. So I won't see you next week, but I'll send out some kind of message or some kind of value thing so that you can get it. And then we'll be back the following week. Hope you enjoyed this little session. Thanks so much. Take care and lots of love.